Was that Exodus?
Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
That's fantastic. You sound really young.
Yeah.
How young are you?
14.
14. Wow. That's incredible. I was 14 22 years ago. Jesus Christ.
Damn, that's long.
It's pretty long. Not gonna lie. Are you trying to listen into this replay review with FIFA King?
Yeah.
Doing our replay review?
Yeah.
Yo, what's up?
Hi.
I forgot how FIFA
Okay.
sounds.
I'm muting my mic though.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yup.
Okay. Let me stream. How do I do this? I can't.
I would just.
You can't stream
quiet.
into this channel. That's no fun. Is there a channel I can stream into?
Should be able.
Yeah, you should be able to.
It says I can't stream into this channel. Let me try a different one. Maybe I don't have access to stream it. Let's use the Third Strike Friends instead.
Okay.
Here.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Right. Good.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you see my stream?
Yeah. It's paused on.
Right.
Yeah.
Are both matches Remy Goki? This is the first one.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you playing the first one? Which one is this?
This is the first one.
Okay.
Alright, so before I start, what's your general strategy against Remy or against Dagger G?
Against Dagger G. So Dagger G against me, he kind of mixes it up. He usually, I mean, he stays back. He attacks. It depends on what mood Dagger G is in. So I try to pressure him when I can, and use Goki's tools to avoid getting in the corner. And he in this particular set he didn't tech a lot, or neither did he contest my dive kick, so I went for those. But usually it's more just trying to outplay in neutral, get in the pokes, and land that one big jump in and get that damage on Remy. That's my game plan against him usually.
Do you ever parry in the neutral?
In neutral, yes, I do try to parry. After the cold blue kick, I don't know what's that called. I try to parry, and I try some if I am trapped in the corner and I can't teleport out or something because he's maintaining distance. I do try to parry his run-in attacks or rushing attacks sometimes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So at 99 seconds, what's your first move that you tend to go for? Do you jump
First move,
towards him
I try
or run away?
I try to close the distance usually, but I don't know why I did in this set particularly, but I usually try to close the distance.
Okay, that's fine. So let's just go ahead and start. Okay. Now, was that like when you jumped there? Was that a missed kick, or was his cold blue kick kind of hit you by surprise, and then you were caught off guard, and so you didn't hit a button?
That definitely did hit me by surprise. That's why I jumped.
Okay. So it seems like right there you tried to jump in. So the first thing is, usually when I jump, I try to react as much as possible to what the opponent is doing while I'm jumping. So I tend to aim for kind of moves that can be done late. So if I jump, I would never do like an early fireball like you did here. Like in this start, you did an early fireball. Like
Mm-hmm.
normally, I jump and I try to assess the situation before I commit to a whatever it is. So in this case,
Okay.
I would have jumped if I choose to jump up neutral like this. I would have jumped and then saw that he did a LOV and then just kind of waited and then tried to parry it or something, right?
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll be doing like a much deeper fireball because
Mm-hmm.
up here, if you generally do this, you're gonna not just against Remy, but in general, you're gonna be a lot more vulnerable because this is an unsafe fireball. Um, so just try to keep that in mind as we go along, because I feel like this match has a lot to do with how you decide to structure your jumps. So like right there, I would be jumping, and in the middle of jumping, I would recognize that he did cold blue kick, and I would try to jump medium kick here at this point because when you're jumping right there, what are you looking to do? Like right here.
Right here.
Yeah.
Right here. If he didn't cold blue kick
Yeah,
me,
before that.
yeah, before that, I would go in for a dive kick or a low fireball like you suggested, and try to just close in the distance because right now he was like too far away for me, and he can play the LOV
Mhm.
game.
Yeah. So one thing that you should keep out.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. One thing that you should keep in mind is whenever you're jumping, before you decide to jump, you
Yeah.
should make a mental note of where both of you are, because that, like right here, once this pushes you back, you have
Yeah.
to think, well, at this point, if I decide to jump, what are all the things that he can do? Like, if you jump here, you don't have a very good arc, because he can actually counter air to air you. Like, he could just jump forward and do like fierce or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're jumping and then deciding that, then if he jumps and he commits to a jump fierce, that could be potentially a 3-hit combo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, other than that, when you jump in here, he's not feeling any pressure because there's a lot of distance between you guys.
Yeah.
So even if you jump in with something like it's going to be a little harder for you to do a full combo unless he's standing, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that's like him making a mistake. Um,
Okay.
so even if you didn't get the opportunity to hit a button here, this should have been blocked,
Okay.
because I mean, when you are jumping and you see him do a cold blue kick, that was pretty early, right? He pretty much
Yeah.
did it almost the same time that you decided to jump, like just a split second. See, almost the exact same time. So at this point, you should have known that it would, go under you, right? So
Yeah.
in this case, you should have jumped, and then it looks like you almost tried to throw there. Um,
Yeah.
I think I saw a slight animation for a throw. Um, or actually, you might have hit fierce. I don't know if you saw that. This doesn't allow me to
Yeah. I
do frame by
definitely did
frame.
try to do something, but I can't remember what I did try to do.
Yeah. So at this early stage, I would just recommend playing it safe and blocking a little more,
Okay.
uh, just to see what he does. So like right there, um, was what I said about the previous jump, where he can
Mm-hmm.
just contest air to air.
Yeah.
So when you jump, you need to jump and decide after assessing the situation. And there's that 3-hit combo.
Yeah.
That should have been a better punish. Probably
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
low forward into Tatsu instead, like roundhouse Tatsu. So these are blocked, which is good. You're familiar with the dance, right? Have you ever tuned in?
The Remy dance.
No, just my mentioning of the dance concept. Basically, uh, the flow between the two players as they're exchanging something. In this case, he hits you, right, and then
Mm-hmm.
he puts you in block stun, and then right here, so the dance is basically a way to describe how who takes the turn to lead, or who takes the lead to generate the action, if you will. In this case, he took the lead first, right? Because he put you in block stun and he did a two hitter, right? But you're still in block stun, so at this point you might be inclined to try to take the lead, but he has a lot of frame advantage, which is why he did crouch short, which is it's the fastest thing that he can do, right? And you got hit because you tried to take the lead in this dance between Goki and Remy, right? I feel like I'm not explaining it that well, but
I get
basically
what you're trying to say.
the flow and when you want to lead and when you want to continue blocking that's something you have to be cognizant of.
Yeah, so you're saying basically just wait for my turn.
Correct.
Right.
Because you have to recognize that certain and I don't know how much you've played Dagger in the past, but you should know that after blocking LOV, you don't quite have frame advantage to contest him very much. And Remy's pretty quick, a lot of pretend like he's a Buki. There's a lot of block strings that he can go in with,
Okay.
So that parry should have had a better punish, right? I guess at this range you can't really get a great punish. Yeah, I suppose that's fine. Roundhouse Tatsu would have whiffed, so yeah. So that we covered that already. You should have been prepared to. That's not safe. He just messed up the punish. Oh, nice little rollback there. Very interesting. So this tech almost always has a fireball character tends to throw a fireball here, right? Sort of like Alex. You ever play an Alex and you both tech and then he does a elbow dash elbow?
Yeah.
Things like that. So whenever you go into a tech situation, you have to be prepared that your opponent might be propelling themselves forward. In the case of Remy, he has EX LOB, but for the most part, if it was Urian or something, or Alex or something, you would account for the possibility that they might throw something high at you, right? So I don't know why you got hit here, but you shouldn't have gotten hit here because there's nothing that you can do that would hit him, right?
Yeah.
You both just teched, so so that was good. But here, so going back to what I said earlier about jump fireballs, right?
Yeah.
You have to kind of read the situation a little better here. I know that you're trying to kind of like seal the round, but any hit will kill you, right? So when you go in with something like this, what are you expecting to do?
So I was definitely not thinking that he would air me or do the
before that, and instead of addressing what actually happened or what you remember happening, what
So
put yourself in this situation. What would you do? What is your game plan?
So basically, at this distance, I would throw in a low fireball and try to close the gap between me and him because I just don't want to have a large gap between Goki and Remy.
And how will you account for his anti-airing?
That's what I think. That's what I thought. I did not actually think of the situation where he would just do an anti-air like immediately after I anti-aired him, aired him.
Yeah, it's sort of tricky because whenever you're jumping in against Remy, you always have to be mindful that he can approach you any number of ways, right? He can stay grounded, he can do a neutral jump, he can air to air you, he could wait and flash kick. There's just so many different options that he has, and he has those stupid just punch into LOV or punch into flash kick. So whenever I jump in against Remy, I have to account for his various anti-air options. And then I also have to make sure that I can, survive.
Yeah.
In this particular case, because he doesn't have meter, you can kind of walk in a little more and just pressure with, instead of jumping forward, because when you jump forward, you're making a big commitment. But if you neutral jump, you're actually putting yourself in a much better situation to deal with his responses. So if you are like, right, you can see my mouse.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so if you're right here and then you just walk in a little more, he's still kind of, even though he has the lead, he's going to be pressured in some way, right? Because you're
Okay.
closing the safety distance. He doesn't want to be close to you. So if you do this, and then if you neutral jump, he can't actually anti-air you, right? Because you're not actually going in, but you can
Yeah.
still throw fireballs late if you want to. Now there's a
Mhm.
case to be made where he can throw LOVs or he can do a cold blue kick, but
Mhm.
the argument there is that you're supposed to be able to parry them. You're supposed to be able to see and parry. So if you neutral jump, you can decide what you want to do. Whereas if you jump in and you commit, he can do any number of things. For one thing, he can dash under, like right here. Like
Yeah.
his dash will put him right here, right? And then he can just walk a
Mhm.
little, and you're gonna whiff your fireball, and he'll
Yeah.
kill you, right? He can neutral jump, medium kick, that'll hit you
Mhm.
as well. And he can back up and then wait for you to get out of the arc because you're jumping from
Mhm.
right here, right? So you're not
Yeah.
gonna reach him if he's like over here. So if
Yeah.
he just backs up and then he throws a fireball, you're probably gonna land into it,
Mhm.
whether you're blocking or whether it hits you in the air.
Okay.
So this forward jump is a mistake, simply because there's just so many things that he can do that will beat it out, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So start of the round, I don't know what happened, but you got hit. This is fine. You probably try to throw a fireball there. Get your combos in order because that was linkable. Okay.
Wait. What was linkable?
The jump, that one,
Oh.
the dive.
Okay.
You could have Tatsu'd into it or any number of things. Sure, you can. I mean, it's hard to see, but if you are doing it, then you should know that you can look out for it, because
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
certainly better than doing the dive kick and then just letting it go. Because what else
Yeah.
are you going to do here? You've got to
Yeah.
attack, continue,
True.
right?
True.
So roundhouse Tatsus are not safe. None of the Tatsus are safe against Remy, unfortunately.
Mhm.
So you have to get that out of your system a little bit. Yeah, okay. So he really isn't contesting your dive kicks too much. Those are pretty good anti-airs. So that's exactly what you should have done in round one. Okay, so you kind of just rushed him down here a good
Yeah.
deal, and that's fine. It didn't seem like he was adequately prepared for it. So interesting flip kick, the demon flip rather. I think he was not expecting that, and so he didn't have a response for it. But these fierces are pretty good. And then he messed up. So the weighting is pretty good too, because you're it's sort of like a helter skelter type of
Mhm.
attack, where you are attacking a great deal, but you're also
Mhm.
inserting in pockets of wait times so that
Mhm.
when he tries to reversal or something, it's not going to be effective. So that was pretty good. Um, one thing I do want to note is that this particular type of playstyle, while it's certainly effective
Mhm.
in some cases, the higher you go up in terms of the opponent's readiness or experience, you're gonna realize that it's gonna work less and less. Especially if they're prepared to,
Mhm.
if they're familiar with it. Of course, there's always the element of online and just uh, kind of like playing a little bit underwater, because I can see as Remy, if I have to block a barrage of attacks, it'll be a little more difficult, right?
Mhm.
So I the anti-airs were good, the fierces were good, but there were also certain other things that you did that were kind of a bit questionable. Um,
Mhm.
the demon flip being one of them,
Yeah.
and this one, he could have had a better punish. I wouldn't have closed the distance if I were him here, because
Mhm.
you guys are kind of scrambling a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
you have a super, and he doesn't.
Mhm.
So plus, clearly, he was not ready for this. So if he were closing in the distance, it's not really advisable. in that regard, because he needs to be able to predict what it is you're going to do in response to him closing in the distance, but he didn't attack you on meaty, so that cold blue kick was pretty much pointless. So and then he backed up, but so pretty bad decision by him overall. He messed up the punish after getting your parry. So it seems like you're more measured in this round, which is good because I would describe playing against Remy as something that you have to be measured with, So you should have had that parry.
Yeah. I mean, it's I'm trying to get the parry in for cold blue kicks.
Yeah.
But I'm just too scared to commit online.
No, I understand. But if you're gonna play, you might as well practice, right?
Yeah.
But that timing is very easy to see because he does it very similar to the whole tech throw elbow dash situation. He did it right after LOV. So you're blocking here, right? And then after you block, there's nothing that you can do to reach him, but there's something that he can do to reach you. So that means that your decision making is easier because the only thing that he can do to reach you is a cold blue kick. So you should be able to visualize that and see it quicker. So that's good. Although I would prefer to do an air fireball there, jump back air fireball instead of roundhouse. So that's the dance again.
Yeah.
So you fought your way out. You see how you committed to the air fireball? It's not a safe one.
Okay.
So I don't know if you
just walked in there. That's what you said before.
Yeah, of course. He's backing up, right? So he caught you a few times in the air-to-air exchange, right? This block is good. Are you trying to fireball there, or are you just trying to jump back?
I'm trying to fireball there.
Okay. So that particular one was not great. So here's block. There's no need for you to jump back fireball there, simply because he's not close enough to pressure you. You can still stay grounded.
Yeah. So basically, what was running through my mind was if I get that trade in the air, I can just knock him away from keeping me in the corner. Right? I can just move forward and get out of the corner. That's
right.
What I was thinking. Yeah.
But it is a commitment that you're making for that. For instance, it's a little hard because he decided to jump. But suppose he didn't jump right here, right? He could just walk towards you, parry the fireball, and then he'll be right here. He'll parry the fireball, and then he doesn't have plus frames to attack you after the parry. But now he's closer to you. You are right here. He's right here, right?
True.
You will feel much more pressured to do something. And then he can neutral jump fierce or something, because that will snuff out your demon flips, right? It'll snuff out your jumps, and he can get a 3-hit combo as a result of that. And this is the dance. So here's one trick. Right here. Suppose you get hit. Suppose you block. Either way, right? You should know that he will get pushed back, right? If he gets pushed back, right? He's at an appropriate space to jump, as are you. You both are at an appropriate space to jump. Therefore, you should actually be more patient, so that, because as you can recall, the past 15 seconds, he has jumped like 4 times in this general region, right? So the likelihood of him jumping is actually not that low, right? I mean, he could do any number of things. He could back up and LOV pressure you. But the point is, jumping is certainly something that he's capable of doing. So, since you're in the corner, and since his likelihood of jumping is a decent amount, you should be more patient, so that when you recognize that he jumps, you can dash under. This is very crucial to escape the corner and put yourself in a much better position to win. Because if you dash under here, right, you would have been right here. You could do a fierce into Shoryu, and turn the tides pretty much, because you'll take off a chunk of his life. You have 2 meters and you have corner control, right? So, and you have to recognize that from the standing fierce, because it pushes him back to a range where jumps are likely. Because here you could even jump air Tatsu, and if you had committed to a roundhouse Tatsu, it would be okay, simply because the mathematics is not that poor in your favor, right? Because pretend like you're Ken, right?
Yeah.
Would you EX air Tatsu there in that situation? If you recognize this situation right here, oh, I have breathing room now. Is EX air Tatsu not something you've seen Ken do in this particular dynamic, right? So something to watch out for, okay? The low forwards, you need to practice confirming into super. What you can do is just low forward fireball, and then buff it super, right? The downside of that is if your opponent is more experienced, they will block and then parry the fireball, right? But my advice to you is just practice it so that you have it in your toolbox, and then if they are showing you that they can red parry it or blue parry it, then you do it less. But it's much better to know that you're able to do it when needed than not do it ever, right? Because he's not somebody you can spam roundhouse Tatsus against, so you need something else to link to your low forward.
Yeah.
Oh, so you dropped that right there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you were trying to do. Do you know
I
what?
was trying to do for low short super.
You just missed the second short?
Yeah, I just missed it.
Okay. So like he's reading your jumps a lot better than you are reading your jumps. You see, it's very hard to jump in on Remy, so you definitely need a bit more of a measured approach to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, I think that was it, right? Yeah. So overall, I would say that you have to be a bit more prepared for when you do jump, but don't be too much in a rush to jump, because Remy has actually pretty decent neutral, and he has a lot of tools to negate both your ground approach and your jump approach. So that in essence, if I play Goki against Remy, I would kind of I wouldn't be attacking all that often. I would kind of attack only up to the point where I allow him to make mistakes, whether that's cold blue kick, and then I would discourage his LOVs by just continuing to parry them, because if he throws LOVs, that's meter for you, because you're supposed to be able to parry it, and he doesn't gain meter when you parry it. So don't be too in a rush for that. Let me grab the other.
Okay. I won't take too much time. I have one match on the other one, and that's about it. We can do I have like 2 more, but we can do it some other time. I don't want to
Okay.
take too
Well,
much time right now.
let's do this one then. Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you skip to like 16:23?
Oh, this is a long one. I see.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to take too much
Gotcha.
time.
Okay, no worries. This is it? 16? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. It's not bad. So those 2 demon flips are pointless. Thanks, Chulak. I'm trying to do these replays a bit more. Anyway, so those 2 demon flips are kind of like, he should be able to recognize that second demon flip and just hit you out of it.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I had a question for the second demon flip though. So for the
mhm.
second demon flip, could I have not grabbed him? Did the air
Mm-mm.
connect the demon flip?
I mean, you demon flipped over him.
I mean, yeah, that was bad spacing on my part.
Yeah.
That's
Plus,
but
plus he's
that was
able to
within
move.
my. Hmm.
You have to account for your opponent's mobility as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, if you had paused a little bit, then maybe. But the problem with that is that Remy is charging a lot, right?
Yeah.
Remy's charging a lot. So had you had done, you know, he's like, oh shit, you're man. I hate it. I wish I could like single frame skip this. But anyway, he's charging, but he decided to stand up. However, suppose he's right here, and suppose you are in range for throw. He could just
Mm-hmm.
crouch, continue crouching, and then throw crouch fierce, and then that's
Mm-hmm.
another 3-hit combo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So a bit of a mistimings there. Unsafe.
That too.
Okay. So you see this particular jump here, you don't have a plan, right?
Yeah.
You parried, but then you tried to. If you're trying to punish the parry, you have to go for roundhouse. Fierce
Mhm.
just has a very bad trajectory, but a
Uh-huh.
roundhouse hits a little more horizontal here, and then you can low forward into Tatsu with it. Assuming you were punishing with fierce and not like messing up a fireball or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It
I
would
was
make more
definitely
sense.
trying to hit him with the fierce,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
I should have gone for the roundhouse.
Um, okay. So I mean, this is way too early. Um, okay. So okay. I don't encourage engaging Remy too often with dive kick. Well, I don't
Uh-huh.
encourage engaging too often by jumping in outside of. See, I try to play a bit safer. Um,
Okay.
so jumping in is just not something I can do uh, if I have safer alternatives. In which case, because Goki has a fireball and an air fireball, you can
Yeah.
approach him a bit safer by just walking in and doing neutral jumps. Because his neutral jump air fireball is really good, but his jump forward fireball not so great. Simply because you're just putting yourself in danger more often than not.
Yeah, that's one of the aspects I'm trying to improve because I usually tend to jump forward a lot,
Hmm.
and I definitely have to like walk
Yeah,
forward
like
more.
see that jump fireball that just took place. It's
Yeah.
unsafe because if he parries it, he can punish, right? Because you have a
Yeah.
landing animation as well. But not only that, even if you hit, you can't get anything beyond that. So the risk versus reward is just really not in your favor, right?
Yeah.
Um, if you
Okay, I got a question. Is there a version of the air fireball where you can just do it super late and
yeah,
then both of you are in the
that's
close
essentially it.
range?
You do like I said, you jump and then you decide. So for one, it seems like he wanted to crouch fierce here. So with a Remy that wants to crouch fierce you, jumping into parry is actually pretty decent. Because after you parry, you can do a full combo punish, and he's
Mm-hmm.
crouching. So the
Mm-hmm.
risk versus reward is actually pretty good. So
Mm-hmm.
I would advocate jumping into parry if you're confident with parrying.
Yeah.
If you're not confident with parrying, I would start the fireball like right here. You know,
A
it's
little later.
essentially a deeper fireball,
Okay.
basically a fireball that you can link on the floor. If you can't link it on the floor, it's not a good fireball, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
you have to time it and take some time to practice it, but you can combo air fireballs into ground combos. It's
Yeah, that was my question. I don't know how I didn't put it in the right way, but I've seen Goki's air fireball being used as Dudley's Rose if you get the picture.
Yeah, if you and the problem with that is that because Remy has so many options to anti-air him, it's not as advisable. The Remy would have to be very passive because for you to combo that fireball, it has to be late. If it's late, that means he has a lot of time to punish you, right?
Okay, so I can combo it if I do late enough, right?
Absolutely. Just maybe not as much against Remy, just because he can hit you out of it prior to that. But if I jump fireball, it's almost always going to be a late fireball because I want to be able to combo on the floor.
Okay, makes sense.
I feel like that was a bit of a YOLO low forward super.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. Because had he pressed a button, he would have hit you out of it.
Yeah, that was too late of a DP too. Yeah.
You moved forward a little bit too, so probably from executing the Shoryu. Okay. See, don't be in such a rush. In such a rush to close the distance here. You know, you took a chunk of health already. That's 60%, right? So here I would just build meter because you're behind on the meter race as well, right? So it's 88 seconds. I would build as much meter as you can build because again, he can't throw any LOVs without giving you meter, right? So he's probably gonna want to close the gap. You can take your time a little more, you know. So you know, one of the things that I advocate is to lose slower, right? Basically, if you're playing against somebody that is statistically likely to beat you, right? If somebody who's better than you, right, more experienced than you, whatever the case may be, then instead of trying to win, you should focus on losing as slow as you can lose, because that means you're committing to less and less and less mistakes, which in turn allows you more opportunities to come back. But you know, of course, if you're just going by raw measurements, if they're better than you, they're likely to win, right? So try to lose slower, because it was at 88 seconds and suddenly the round is over at 82. You could have, you know, certainly extended it to 75, 63, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, that will give me more chances, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah. And the only way to lose slower is to make less mistakes, which also means blocking more, you know, timing your things a little better. So it kind of goes hand in hand with becoming a better player. So yeah, just don't be too in a rush. And sometimes it's difficult. Like right there, you parried, and per the dance, you don't have any frame advantage after that parry, right?
Yeah.
So you really should have been blocking this. It would be a parry block, essentially. Because you can't attack him. Because the thing with LOVs is that once it leaves him, he has recovery, a very short recovery, but then he can do whatever he wants afterwards, you know? you see what I was saying earlier?
Yeah. I just commit to jumps a lot, yeah.
No, well, I'm telling you, the situation is that when they push you out, when they push you out to a certain range, the likelihood of a jump increases because that's where jumps take place, right? If you're over here and he's over here, he's probably not going to jump at you. If you're over here and he's over here, he's probably not going to jump at you. But if you're over here and he's over here, the likelihood of him jumping increases. So in this particular case, pay attention to it, dash under, stand fierce, Tatsu, get a full combo, and then you have corner control, right? And it's okay if he fights his way out, right? Okay. So you're being a bit too active. If you pay attention to just how much your sprite jiggles, right? Starting from here, it's moving a lot, right? It never stays still, right? I mean that was a good 6-7 seconds of you just moving non-stop. So try to measure yourself a little more. You see, this is good. You realize that you have the lead, you have a super, he has almost no life. Perfect time to extend it and make him work for the win, right? prior to that, I mean, it worked out in your favor because he takes a chunk of damage. But in terms of your battle plan, I wouldn't say that you had a great battle plan up until the very end. Because the thing about recognizing mistakes is that sometimes it works out in your favor, and you have a less uh, it because it works out in your favor, you don't readily see that it's not the best plan, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes mistakes can work out, and you can
Mm-hmm.
deal damage that way. But you should try your hardest to recognize if it's not a mistake, then recognize if there is something more optimal that you could do, right? Um, so in the case of this, like, you have a pretty good um, lead here, right? You don't really. So one thing you should add to your arsenal is neutral jump fireball, because it's a really good zoning tool, right? You neutral jump, you can react to his cold blue kicks, you can react to his dash, you can do any number of things, right?
A deep neutral jump fireball.
It doesn't have to be that deep. In this, I would recommend it to at least be right here, so you have to launch it like right here, but certainly not up here, because that's just way too much commitment.
Yeah, he can just parry and it'll just
Yeah,
come in.
but if the deeper it is, the more you can act. Same the way that he has his LOVs. He throws his LOVs. It reaches you. You do something. You parry. You block. He's still able to attack you afterwards. Same thing with your air jump fireballs. You do it late. You land. You have time to react to whatever he wants to do, or
Okay.
beat him to the punch even. But I don't see any neutral jump fireballs here in this entire match, and I suspect that you didn't really get too many opportunities, or you didn't get around to
Nope,
doing them.
I don't think I utilized neutral jump fireball.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's certainly something you need to add to your arsenal, because it's something that you can do. Okay, let's just do this round real quick. Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah. So demon flips, I wouldn't recommend demon flips too much either, because oh, that's a punish. Oh no. The thing is, and this isn't a knock to Dagger, but a better player will be more readily able to punish your things, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, the demon flips and the dive kicks. I
Yeah.
think I told you at the start of the set, right? Because he usually does contest them,
Mhm.
but in
But
this
yeah, he was
particular
not
set, he
as
wasn't. Yeah.
right. He was a bit more passive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, you recognize what your mistakes are when you do them. So just, general things to improve upon. Work on confirming. Don't commit as often, because those
Okay.
low forward fireballs or low forward supers are all just do it supers, right? Because it's almost impossible to hit confirm a
Yeah.
raw crouch forward online.
Yeah.
But work on implementing neutral jump fireballs. If you're gonna jump forward and fireball, you should try to have it be a safe one. And that's not something I can really draw out at the moment. But essentially, there are timings and distances that allow your fireballs to be safe versus not safe, and it also depends on what character you're playing against, but generally speaking, the higher it is, the more unsafe it is, right?
Yeah, I totally get that. You can't really show me every single scenario that's gonna happen in an FR book because
Yeah,
there's so many. Yeah.
I encourage you to work, kind of alter the timings so that you can get a feel for what the different fireballs end up doing. Other than that, take a more measured approach. You don't want to constantly attack, but you don't want to defend forever either. But you have to, in terms of your aggressive pacing, it's better if you are able to allow your opponents to make a mistake when you are on the offense, right?
Okay.
Very easy example, like a Yang, right? A Yang can pressure people with Mantis nonstop, right? Pretty much. But he's much more effective when he allows them to try to contest and then he low parries or something, depending on the character. Because, for one, that's much more demoralizing. You stay one step ahead of the other person, right? And you might not find those opportunities as readily available against a Remy. But in terms of attacking, you don't want to attack all the time. You want to be able to attack and then allow your opponent to make mistakes and then attack some more, right? Because again, going back to what I said to Digimon, the last time I did a replay review, when you are attacking, you are essentially putting yourself at the mercy of your opponent's guess, right? An easy example is, you do a meaty on Wake Up, right? Even though you have the momentum, the advantage, even though you're in the more dominant position, if they decide to reverse a super, that's a guess in inverse, right? In reverse. Because you are basically banking on them to not do the one thing that will beat you, right? So give yourself some time to allow your opponents to make a mistake when you are on the offense as well. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So yeah. So you're saying just do a measured approach to even 50-50 situations because
Yeah, because you don't lose the advantage by not attacking. You only lose the advantage when the opponent actually turns the table against you, and that can happen when you commit to things that are unnecessary, right? I mean, if you have 100 life and he has 0 life, do a meaty, right? Because even if he turns the tides, you still have many more opportunities to kill him. But if you both have like a sliver of life and you are on top of him and you decide to do a meaty and he reversal supers, you threw your advantage to a coin flip or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So it changes depending on the circumstances surrounding the game's state at the time, but that's something that you'll have to make a decision on.
Yeah, that's definitely something which I don't take into account when I'm usually playing better players.
Mm-hmm.
Not even better players. I just don't usually take that into account like every single match. I do take it into account when I am trying to focus on every single aspect of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But when when I'm losing, of course I tend to make more mistakes.
Yeah, and that it's
Yeah.
easy to get drawn into somebody's vortex,
Yeah, it's definitely especially someone
like
especially someone like
Dagger, right?
Dagger.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so easy to just lose your cool and just attack him and
Mm-hmm.
try to stay close to him because he's so good at keeping out. And
Yeah.
that's one of my weaknesses is just
Yeah. I'll try to play some Goki against him at some point, so that you can see what I'm trying to articulate.
oh yeah,
But
that would be so helpful.
yeah, but generally the game plan is to make less mistakes, and go from there. Because he takes a lot of damage too, Remy. And you can deal a chunk of damage. So you don't need to win that many exchanges. But it certainly helps to allow your opponent to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other questions?
Not as of right now.
Okay.
I might just hit you up like later, sometime later this week or next week or sometime, whenever you're free and ask for a few more.
Yeah.
few more.
No, that will be fine.
Yeah, that's it for now, man. Access. Thank you. I really appreciate you taking your time and
Yeah,
helping me
course.
out figure stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice of you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said earlier, I'm trying to do these replay reviews a bit more. because I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like because of how accessible Fightcade is, people are just it's not like you need to save your quarters. You just resume, and the accessibility is so high that you just get to play and play and play and play and play. So when you
Mm-hmm.
win, you're like, oh, everything went great. But when you lose, you're like, oh, gotta try again. Like there's less
Yeah.
room to encourage you to think about what just transpired, or what kind of mistakes you made or your opponent made, or what could you do differently. So
Oh yeah, you're
um,
talking about the arcade days when people just spend quarters and just wait in line and stuff like that, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that mentality would definitely help people, but like you said, you hit the nail on the head. It's just exactly
Yeah,
what you said. It's just
the
so easy.
accessibility is
Yeah,
just so you're
yeah,
encouraged to just try it over again.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely do that. If I lose a match, I'll definitely re-challenge the player again just to try to get that win back. But it's what it is.
Yeah. So just focus on the decisions, not so much the wins or the losses. And eventually the wins will come as a byproduct of you getting better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense, man. Thank you so much. You're one of the few top players who actually, helps other lower level players like me. That I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, no, you're very welcome. I try. So just we'll do it again sometimes, all right?
Bet, bet.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
Thanks, man.
so
I'll see you on FightKit or Discord.
yeah,
I'll see you around.
I'll be here. Stream. I don't intend to continue this. It was just pretty much ad hoc to do this replay review for FIFA King. So I'm gonna end it here, and I'll probably stream within the next day or two. So have a good night, everybody. Okay. Bye.